know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Once again, as always, the one, the only, the motherfucking General, Miguel Magallon. And as always, President, Founder, CEO of Magallon Entertainment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we talk about AI. Tonight I present to you the artificial intelligence mega clip. Tonight, everyone, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the best investments in AI. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for fucking knowledge. And as always, get the pen and the pads, get the pen and the pads, get the pens and the motherfucking pads. And let us begin to enter into the rabbit hole this evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. So tonight, we want to talk about artificial intelligence. Tonight, we want to talk about machine learning. Tonight, we want to talk about the motherfucking data centers. Tonight, we want to talk about investing in technologies that are not only going to transform the world, but they're going to change the way we live our lives in this world. And it starts with the one, the only, motherfucking NVIDIA. Ladies and gentlemen, NVIDIA just reported earnings earlier today. And I gotta fucking tell you, I gotta be honest with you. I gotta keep it real with you, America. Ladies and gentlemen, NVIDIA just reported motherfucking blowout guidance on their earnings call. Not blowout numbers. We'll get to that in just a second. But they just provided Wall Street with the ammunition, the fucking fuel, the fucking ammo that they needed to keep this fake ass rally going. not necessarily in the economy, but specifically in the stock market. Again, they're not the same thing, right? So earlier today, NVIDIA goes, and everyone's waiting for their earnings call. By the way, ticker symbol for NVIDIA, ticker symbol is NVDA, ticker symbol is NVDA, ticker symbol for NVIDIA is NVDA, okay? The absolute best microchip processing company on planet Earth right now. They have no fucking equal as far as I'm concerned. They are head and shoulders the best microchip company in the fucking planet today. They have no equal. They are just destroying their competition worldwide right now. So the stock, as you could imagine, has really been honestly just on fire all year now. The stock had I don't want to call it a bottom, but it had a low back in October of 2022. And I think it was a double low. Yeah, because last year in 2022, and I'm looking at the stock chart right here, I'm looking at the 1-year chart for NVIDIA as I record this clip this evening. 1-year chart for NVIDIA, ticker symbol NVDA. The stock hit a low last year, a double low. It hit 150 in July of last year. Now it's over 300. You got to be fucking kidding me. So it hit 150 in July of last year. I ended up selling this stock in August, like I explained to you guys the other night when I sent you guys my entire portfolio. Thank you for all of you who are listening. I sold this stock when it was around 188, about 200. Give or take last year, and that's when I wanted to short the market, short the economy, and short the average American consumer, because most of you are broke as shit right now, and I think that's only going to continue to get worse, especially as layoffs continue, and as the unemployment rate eventually, it's been dragging ass here for a minute, but eventually it's going to go higher, because the Fed wants it to go higher, whether you agree with them or not. Again, the only way they can kill inflation is by causing a recession, and they're going to call it a mild recession. And what do I always say about recessions? We talked about it last night. A mild recession for Kim Kardashian and her family is probably going to be an extreme recession for you and your family. So again, mild recession, severe recessions, that's, that only equates to like how rich people look at things. But for poor people, any recession is a fucking devastating one, because at this point in the game, with inflation is where it is, rent prices going higher, food prices going higher, gas prices going higher, but your paycheck staying the same. Yeah, no mames way. Most of your guys' lives is a fucking recession right now. So anyways, though, that's when I started to short the market, short the economy, short Wall Street, short the American consumer, and short the average American family. Again, I don't want it to be this way, but it's just obvious they're going to continue to try to destroy the middle class and below in the name of killing inflation. And I don't think they're going to stop until they get the job done. So best of luck to you guys, after this evening and throughout this summer. I hope you guys survive. I hope you guys make it. I hope you guys stack your bread. I hope you guys fix your credit scores. And I hope you guys, start stacking up cash, because if the market does crash eventually, like I think it will, I thought it would have already started to go down by now. It hasn't. The market has clearly told me to go fuck myself and my short positions. But eventually, hopefully, if I nail this and the market does start to crack down and just fall apart, second half of this year or early part of next year, whenever it happens, hopefully sooner than later, that way I can cash out my short positions. But if and when that happens, I think, excuse me, brain fart here. But yeah, if and when that happens, I'll be excited, I'll be happy. But, names like this, NVIDIA, are basically just rallying and taking the market higher. And so we'll see what happens. But anyways, going back to the stock chart real quick. I got lost for just a minute. But June of last year, July, it was 150 and it hit a low. And then it went higher last year towards August, and that's when I ended up cashing out, like I said. And I sold all my NVIDIA position around 188, 200, give or take. And that's when I, again, started shorting the market, shorting the consumer, because I think that's what the Fed wants to do, is just kill all of you, financially, that is. And then it hit another low in October of last year, and it went all the way down to like $100. Again, you look at the 1-year chart, what's the 52-week low? 52-week low says it's about 108. So yeah, NVIDIA was like $100 last year in October of 2022. And then after that, it's just been on an absolute fucking tear from 100 to damn near 400. I mean, damn, this bitch has been destroying, all its competition. Now I look at the year-to-date chart. Year to date, again, it hit a low of $100 in October of last year. But to start this year, it started the year around what, 140, 150. Again, it's looking like it's launching straight to full hundo. I mean, damn, this start has just been on a fucking tear. And you want to know really what it is? It started with the whole chat GBT bullshit. And I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying it's great. Like I use ChatGPT for work and everything. And I try to ask it as many questions as I can because I'm always trying to learn as much as I can, and always trying to just gain, new knowledge. So I do use ChatGPT. I'm not going to lie. I do use it because it does help me a lot in different aspects of my life. But I have, run into some hiccups where I feel like it's not always giving me the right answer, or sometimes the answers are kind of off, right? So it's not necessarily perfect yet, but it is a lot better than Google if you really think about it, for those of you guys who've actually used it once or twice. So with that being said, I feel like this whole ChatGPT phenomenon and everyone getting into AI and all of these companies on their, and their investor presentations and their earnings reports, all they do is keep talking about AI this, AI that, the AI revolution, and we're going to be able to automate a lot of jobs soon. And in the future, a lot of jobs are going to be taken over by machines and machine learning and algorithms, right? And I feel like the more and more companies are investing into this, and the more and more companies are getting into this and figuring out and realizing now, pulling their heads out their asses, that AI is the future. It's always been the future. And now they're finally starting to invest more money, more capital, more dinero into this industry. NVIDIA is the clear winner, because NVIDIA is basically, they own 90% of the market share. 90% of all the AI chips in the world, the good ones at least, are basically all manufactured by NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is basically like, they're the kingpin. They are the fucking mastermind. They are the great white fucking behemoth in this space. And again, when you own 90% of the market share, you have no competition. Everyone else looks like ants to you. So NVIDIA, man, they just continue to knock it out the park. And I feel like now that every company is investing more money and they're finally realizing the potential of AI, I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. I feel like a lot of companies are just going to keep dumping money into AI. And in order to get those AI chips that allow them to use AI, because you need a specific kind of chip, you have to go to fucking NVIDIA. And NVIDIA is basically the kingpin in the space, because they not only make the most affordable AI chips, they also make the best AI chips. So it's one of those situations where they not only have the best quality, but they also give it to you for the cheapest price. Well, how the fuck is anyone going to compete with that? It's already damn near impossible to make a better microchip than NVIDIA as is. But on top of that, they're going to sell it for the cheapest price? No mames. What kind of competition is there? There's none. So they are just destroying the competition, obliterating the competition. They are, forcing the competition to capitulate in front of them and bend the knee to them. I mean, they are fucking killing it, ladies and gentlemen. And their forward guidance this evening, when they were talking about how much money do they expect to make from AI chips, moving forward for the rest of the year and then going into next year and beyond. I mean, these guys are talking about making billions and billions and billions and billions, Papa Trump status, billions and billions of motherfucking dollars, moolah, dinero, feria, fucking everywhere. Because again, whether it's, the Department of Defense, whether it's the CIA, whether it's the FBI, whether it's Homeland Security, whether it's your bitch ass police station, whether it's fucking, intelligence agencies around the world, whether it's, artificial intelligence companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook out here trying to build the metaverse. How are you going to build it? Using AI. Tesla trying to have self-driving cars. How are you going to power that shit? AI. You got data centers, and all these data centers all around the world constantly collecting your information and selling it to the government. How are they going to be able to automate that shit? Oh, I know. AI, and it's just like, everyone, man. Walmart's doing it. Amazon's using it. Facebook needs it. Google needs it. Microsoft wants it. I mean, this is basically taking Wall Street by storm right now, and everyone wants in on it. And again, it's not just the fact that Nvidia makes the best AI chips in the world, the best microchip processors on planet fucking Earth right now. It's the fact that they also make it more affordable than any of their competition. Fuck, man. How's anyone supposed to compete with that shit? Oh, that's right, they can't. And that's why their competition's starving right now. That's why they're barely surviving right now. That's why they're fucking dying right now. Because their competition is basically non-existent. It's just basically getting killed, getting slaughtered right now. And so we'll see how much longer their competition can even survive, at this scale. And by the way, in case you're wondering who their competition would be, it would be companies like Intel, and you could look up Intel stock chart. Ticker symbol is INTC. Ticker symbol is INTC. Company like Intel, I mean, it's complete dog shit. The stock right now is like $30. 20, 30 years ago, back in 1999, guess how much the stock price was? $30. So in the last basically 25 years, Intel's stock chart has done absolutely nothing. You know how much that pisses off investors? Imagine investing in a stock 25 years ago at $30 and 25 years later it's still $30. I mean, I guess that's what they mean when they say I got 30 on 30 on 30 on 30. Yeah, you put $30 30 years ago and it's still at $30. Like, damn, man, that'd be depressing as shit. To put $30 on an investment 30 years ago and it's still $30. I mean, damn. Especially when you got shit out here like Bitcoin and Nvidia, and you look at Tesla stock the last 10 years, Apple stock the last 10 years, Facebook stock the last 10 years, even fucking Netflix stock the last, 10 years. I mean, there's so many fucking investments. When you look at the 10-year chart for Bitcoin, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, we'll get to them in just in a minute, Google, Microsoft. You look at a lot of 10-year charts, and man, somebody was, texting me the other day, one of my VIP subscribers. Shout out to my man Jonathan out there in Canada. And he was telling me, like, he was looking at Costco chart because he says every time him and his wife go to the grocery store, they always feel like it's super packed out there. And they're always like, man, the general was right. People can't afford to go out and eat as much as they once did. Now they're all just trying to stay at home and cook at home. And every time he goes to Costco out there in Canada, yeah, Costco operates in Canada too. It's a fucking multinational company. Again, Fortune 500 for a reason, right? They're not just making money here in America. They're making money all around the world. So's Walmart, so's Amazon, so's Tesla. But the point is, Costco out there in Canada, he said it's basically packed all year long, and a lot of people now are more than ever, going to Costco and trying to stack up on like veggies and shit. And so, anyways, my man Jonathan was texting me the other day saying him and his wife went to Costco that day, and they were thinking about me because they were like, man, this fucking company is going to do great because if we really do go into a recession here in Canada too, and I think Canada is actually worse than America, if you could believe that shit, in terms of their economies. But he's basically saying like, yo, Costco is probably going to be a very good play, or at the very least, it's going to be defensive. And Jonathan and his family right now, they're not trying to be too aggressive. They're trying to be safe with their money because that's all they have. And they're thinking about putting it on Costco, under $500 as a good kind of like safe place to put their money. Either that or they're probably going to put it in a bond or a CD. So anyways, not to put your business out there, but I feel like there's a lot of people that can learn from your story, Jonathan. So anyways, though, he was looking at the 10-year chart for Costco, and he was like, man, 10 years ago, Costco stock was like $80, $90, which is too. You go back to 2012, 2013, even 2011, Costco stock was 60, or it was 50, then it was 40, then it went back to 50, then it went to 60, then it went to 70, then it went to 80, then it went to 90, and then it finally broke $100 in 2013. And now here we are talking about Costco at $500. So that's just an example. That's one stock right there, Costco. But you look at a lot of other companies, again, the Teslas, the Apples, the Microsoft, the Googles, the Netflix, the Facebook, the motherfucking Nvidias. And you look at their 10-year stock charts, sheesh. Man, that's how people be getting paid. Again, just fucking compound interest. Just, rolling over the interest and just stacking interest on interest on interest on interest. So some of you guys, like, like you're going to be like me and you're going to go to the beach this summer and you see all these fucking rich people living at the beach with their big ass houses and their nice cars and private yachts, driving a fucking Bugatti and shit, right? And you look at their big ass mansions and the nice ass watches and you look at their life and the way they moving, and you guys act like they got that way just by working a 9 to 5, hands on their fucking knees all day. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? You know what I mean? Like, are you titiri? I mean, come on now. These guys, they're not, these people you see out there in the economy and in the world that are fucking balling out of control. It's not because they worked 9 to 5 all day for 30, 40 years and, waited until they were able to cash out a pension. No. A lot of these people are just investors, people that knew how to invest their money early. They let it sit there and they let it just compound on compound on compound. And there you have it. Now all of a sudden, $10,000 turns into $10 million. $10 million turns into $100 million. $100 million turns to $200 million. $200 million goes to $400 million. $400 million 2 years later is worth $500 million, $600 million, $700 million, $900 million. And then you look at a lot of these billionaires around the world, it's like, at that point, it's just a fucking stacking process. And all of a sudden they go from 5 billion to 10 billion to 20 billion in the blink of an eye. So again, it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you invest. Some people get it and some people don't. And that's fine. Some people are meant to be broke as fuck. What do I always say? Somebody's got to pick up my trash on Friday mornings. So anyways, NVIDIA, it's just on a tear right now, and I think everyone's realizing, all these companies in the Fortune 500, all these CEOs, they're finally realizing, like, man, AI is the truth. Automation's the fucking future of our business, of our company, and it should be a key part of our long-term strategy. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, automation. And I feel like we've been saying this on the podcast for years. I feel like a lot of you guys know this for years, but it feels like nobody really wants to invest in this shit. So again, it's a great number. Great guidance. Sales are fucking through the roof, in terms of AI chips and AI production. So great guidance on the earnings call. But now let me get to their numbers. Let me get to their numbers real quick, because I got to tell you something. For all the fucking love that Wall Street wants to give NVIDIA lately, and again, it looks like it wants to shoot straight to 400. I mean, at this point, it might be 500 tomorrow. I mean, damn. But for all this fucking love and attention that Wall Street finally wants to give NVIDIA, and they finally want to put some respect on their name, investors like me are kind of like, where the fuck were you bitches at 10 years ago when the stock was like $20? No big deal, right? But I also feel like it's kind of overdone. And I think there's a lot of people who are looking at this stock chart and they're like, damn, this has gone parabolic. This shit is on a fucking rampage. This shit is fucking just, it's gone up a little bit too high, too much, and we don't feel like this price is warranted. Now, is anyone saying that NVIDIA stock chart should be zero? No. Is anyone saying they're going out of business? No. Is anyone saying the stock should be back at $20? No. Is anyone saying it should be back at $5? No. But $500? Ah, that's a lot. And given what their earnings are, I get it. They have all the potential in the world. They are the best, microchip processor in the world. The entire world is going to be predicated on technology on the future. And in the future, if everything's based and controlled by technology and AI and machine learning and algorithms and all these fucking robotics that are coming to life and the metaverse this and the metaverse that, if that's really going to be the future of humanity, then who's going to stand to benefit the most? It's going to be the companies like NVIDIA who are producing the microchips that enable the use of that technology, right? So when they are the best microchip manufacturer on earth, and then on top of that, they're doing it for the most affordable price for all of these small, medium, and large-sized businesses, yeah, they're going to continue to take market share, they're going to continue to dominate their market, and they're going to continue to kill and obliterate all of their competition, like bitch-ass Intel, $30 30 years ago. You got to be kidding me. That's a fucking disgusting, pathetic, disgraceful stock, in my opinion. And by the way, don't be surprised if that's one of the stocks that I'm shorting on the side. Don't let that surprise you. Again, I'm shorting a lot of things in this economy. And then I think after the summer, I'm going to be shorting even more things in this economy because I still think interest rates are going higher, even if they do a mini pause in the summer. But anyways, so yeah, I think this stock is really overdone. And so I wanted to get ahead of this because I know tomorrow morning you guys are going to be looking at Nvidia chart and you're going to be over there looking at that shit and it's going to look at you and you're going to look at it and it's going to look at you and you're going to be there sitting at, on your laptop or staring at your phone and Nvidia stock chart and you're going to be saying to yourself, holy moly, donut shop, this stock is up a lot. It's giving Wall Street the business right now. Oh, I wonder what the general thinks. Should I add more money? Should I put more money on Nvidia stock? Should I fucking, drop a little $400, get me one more share of Nvidia? Should I put $200 in my Robinhood account and buy half a share of Nvidia? Should I put $30, $40 and get 0.1 shares of Nvidia? And I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at the stock chart and you're going to be looking at all the articles that pop up on YouTube and Google and AI this and AI that. And I'm going to be sitting here looking at you guys like, bro, we were talking about this shit 4 years ago. We were talking about this shit when I first started the podcast. I remember in 2020 telling you guys microchip processors are the fucking future. And again, in 2020, when I was telling you guys to load up on Nvidia, that shit was like fucking $40, $50, $80, $90, $100, right? And it ended up skyrocketing all the way to like 300 back in 2021. And then again, last year, because again, I want to be transparent and make sure, we're all on the same page. It went from $300 in 2021, went all the way down to about $150 in July, summer of 2022. So it was down 50%. And then it had a little bounce, a little rally back up to around 200, like 185, 195, give or take 200. That's basically when I cashed out. And again, the only reason I sold my Nvidia stock and my AMD is because I think interest rates are going higher, and even though the companies are executing at the absolute highest fucking level possible and are blowing out their guidance reports, and their CEOs and their management teams and their technology is fucking amazing, if not biblical at this standpoint, I'm just a firm believer that all the stocks, regardless of how great the company is, regardless of how amazing the CEO is, regardless of how, on fire revenue is, all these stocks are going to just continue to dump lower. Not just second half of this year, but maybe even early next year, because the Fed, the dumbasses, or the, as we like to call them, the gringos with all the dinero, the power of interest rates, I think they're just going to continue to raise them higher until they send, the middle class and below into a full annihilation, into a bloodbath, a massacre, a full-blown recession in the name of killing inflation, whether you like it or not. And again, because in their opinion, inflation is worse than a recession. So I do still think interest rates are going higher. And because of that, that's going to make Bob on Wall Street continue to sell a lot of his stocks on the stock market and put that money into safe shit like bonds, CDs, and treasuries. So, and that's why, I think Tesla is a perfect example. So can you guys do me a favor real quick while you're listening to this? Look at Tesla's stock chart real quick. And look at the year-to-date chart. Tesla's up, 60-70% for the year. And you look at the one-year chart. One-year chart looks disgusting. One-year chart says Tesla's down 20% in the last year. And you look at their 5-year chart. And honestly, Nvidia and Tesla, they're not necessarily the same thing. One's, electric vehicles and the fastest growing EV company on earth, and the other one's microchips, which is just basically the future of all technology, because technology cannot exist without microchips, right? So Tesla's a great example, though, because Tesla, again, revolutionary company, iconic CEO, and, they're going to keep on growing, and revenue is going to continue to climb for years and decades to come because they're involved in so many industries, right? Just like artificial intelligence can be applied to almost any industry, I think a lot of the technology that Elon and Tesla are building on the side with energy storage and charging stations and, everything he's doing with rocket ships at SpaceX, like they just continue to expand into different industries, different sectors. And a lot of their technology at Tesla and SpaceX can also be applied to different, to other industries and sectors as well. And so when you look at Tesla, Tesla's a great company, right? Same thing, like I just mentioned before, iconic CEO, revolutionary this, revolutionary that, legendary shit. But Tesla's a stock, again, I think this one is going to go and retest its lows. And I think the low is around $100. Same thing a year ago. I sold this one in August of last year when it was around $300. And I only told my VIPs. I'm telling you guys now because I'm going to be taking a break for this summer. So just to be fully transparent with you guys, yeah, me and my VIPs, we sold Tesla at 300. Today it's 180. So some of you guys are like, man, that's awesome. You sold at 300 and now it's 180. Yeah, but go figure. I sold Nvidia around like 180, 192. And now that one's the one at 400. So, it kind of like balanced out. So it's kind of like I split it, right? So the money I saved by selling Tesla early is also the same amount of money I lost by selling Nvidia early, right? So it's basically like a break even. But there's still a lot of other stocks that I sold, in August of last year that are still down a shit ton right now. And I think will continue to go down a shit ton. So that's why I'm not too bothered that, Nvidia's, been going higher this year since I sold it, because I do think it's going to reverse course and end up going back down again. Just like Tesla looks like it's starting to reverse course. Felt like a few weeks ago or like a few months ago, everyone was blowing me up about Tesla this, Tesla that. Oh my God, Tesla went down to 100 and then it went straight to 200. And then all of a sudden it started to lose steam. All of a sudden it started to lose momentum. All of a sudden no one's blowing me up about Tesla anymore. Like, everyone knows it's a good long-term investment, but no one's like asking me if this is the perfect time to jump back in. You know what I mean? So I think the same thing is probably going to have to happen to Nvidia soon. I think, again, revolutionary company, iconic fucking, CEOs and, just super innovative technology. But eventually it's going to lose steam. Eventually it's going to be something that loses momentum. And when it happens, you're going to start to see it roll over. So that's the thing about the stock charts with Tesla and Nvidia. In both cases, they'll have moments, times throughout history, periodically. They'll have times throughout history where the stock charts will explode higher, and then it'll kind of go sideways, and then it'll kind of go back down again. And then it'll explode higher, and then it'll go sideways, and then it'll come back down again. And then it explodes higher, and then it goes sideways, and then it comes back down again. Look at the 5-year chart for Tesla. You guys look at that 5-year chart for Tesla, you guys will know what I mean. It'll explode higher, go sideways, come down. Explode higher, go sideways, come down. Explode higher, go sideways, come down. And I think it still has to come down a lot more. And again, the reason I'm bearish, I want to say bearish, but the reason I'm short-term skeptic or cautious or bearish, however you want to put it, the reason I feel this way short-term, right, is because I still think interest rates are going higher in the name of killing core inflation. Which, and again, I hate to talk about it because I know this is an artificial intelligence clip, but I really want to make sure that you guys understand why I'm still negative on the, not just the broader market, not just on the economy, not just on fucking average American consumers, but as a general, like when I make decisions on the podcast or I tell you I'm making decisions with my portfolio or I'm trying to explain to you what I'm doing with my money, even though I don't have to because it's my fucking money. I feel like a lot of you guys come to me for like advice, and a lot of you guys come to me for like guidance, and a lot of you guys look up to me. For a lot of you guys, like, I'm some kind of like a fucking, like, not a hero, or maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but a lot of you guys really do look at me like a fucking, like a mentor, like someone you can like, maybe you can look up to, or you can talk to, or you can relate to, or you can fucking, rock to, like, you guys look at me and think of me in, some kind of way, and I appreciate it, right? I'm not a person that's like out here seeking attention or look at me, click the like button. I'm not, begging you guys to fucking sign up for VIP or don't. Like, I really don't care because I'm going to keep making money with or without you, right? I'm not over here trying to put my name out there or like, look at me, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on TikTok. I don't even have an Instagram. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have a Facebook. I don't have any of that shit. Because I'm not here for the like button. I'm just here to make money. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of like the only 3 things I care about. I care about God, I care about my family, and I care about my portfolio, my bank account. Because I feel like those are the only 3 things I need in life. God in my life, my family in my life, and my bank account in my life, my portfolio. Fuck the bullshit. Everything else is just extra. So I'm not out here trying to become like an influencer or another fucking, YouTuber. Like, I don't really care about any of that shit. I just want to make as much money as possible investing in companies that are just going to continue to grow and profit and, expand their businesses and, watch their stocks go higher over time, and companies that are just going to compound, interest on top of the interest on top of the interest. Because again, I have enough money in my life where I no longer work for money. Now the best thing I can do with my time is make my money work for me, right? And so that's why, like, a lot of times when I tell you guys, I've been investing in this shit for a long fucking time now, and it was hard. It was a journey. I didn't get to fucking where I am overnight. I told you guys for the first 5-6 years, I was just trying to put $5,000-$6,000 in my portfolio every year because that's the max you can put into a Roth IRA. And the reason that was important to me was because I realized back then when I was in the military that even if I served 20 years in the Marine Corps, it still wouldn't be enough money to buy my house, to buy my family a house in San Diego on the beach. And to me, I was kind of always like frustrated by that because I was like, damn, I feel like I'm working my ass out here. I'm trying to go to, deployments to Afghanistan and whatnot. And I'm in the fucking infantry, like I'm trying to be this badass like Rambo. And, I'm a fucking machine gunner and I'm doing all this fucking bullshit, all these fucking field ops and shit. And I'm fucking working out every day and I'm running up the fucking mountain every day and I'm getting yelled at every day, and it's like, I'm going through all this stress and all this fucking bullshit and all this like infantry training to get ready for fucking combat environments and doing deployments to Afghanistan and doing patrols in a combat zone and, you know what I mean, quote unquote, serving my country and, not getting really paid shit to do it either. But, out there fucking, trying to be a badass and at the same time trying to be a good father and a good husband and raise my kids the right way and to be able to give my wife the best life possible, even though I wasn't making any money because the military don't pay you shit. And it was just very frustrating when, I would go on vacation for like a week or 2 weeks, or I would, take the weekend off and go on libo, as we called it, and then like I would see all these people driving their fancy cars and I would see all these people with their nice houses and, 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds, going into the fucking sea in their fucking private yachts, and this dude's driving a Tesla, and this dude's got a fucking brand new Mercedes Benz fresh out the dealership, and this bitch over here got the new fucking Maserati. And like I would just look at people out there in the real world who weren't that much older than me, but I feel like, what the fuck? I feel like they're not much older than me, but I feel like they're like years ahead of me, like financially. I feel like they're just like multiple levels higher than me, even though they're not much older than me. And then I think what really pissed me off back then was a lot of times I felt like they weren't even that much smarter than me. I was like, bro, you don't really look like a genius to me, bro. Like when I talk to you, you seem normal. You don't seem like extra. You don't seem special. You know what I mean? Like you don't rub me the wrong way. Like, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like to me that, like you're involved in rocket science or anything crazy shit like that. And yet they're the one with the fucking Beamer, Benz, or Bentley. They're the ones with the Ferraris. They're the ones with the brand new Tesla. They're the ones with the fucking this and that. They're the ones with the fucking mansions. They're the ones with the fucking, the private boats and the private yachts and the fucking helicopter pad on the roof. And I'm over here like, damn, bro. Like, how you get that shit? And then I realized that it's not about working harder. A lot of those people, the reason they were years ahead of me wasn't because they were smarter, wasn't because they were more special, more gifted, more talented. No, they just had more common sense than me, and they were more patient than me. And then I realized that soon after, like a lot of these millionaires in San Diego, they're not all geniuses. They're not all fucking gurus. They're not all fucking scientists. A lot of them, most of them, are fucking investors. And all they did was they were really patient when they first started, invested as much money as they could, and they just kept stacking their portfolio higher and higher and higher. And then after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, all of a sudden their portfolios go from 5,000 to 10,000 to 20,000 to 40,000 to 80,000 to 100,000, 200,000, 400,000, 900,000, And I was just looking at that shit like, damn, these motherfuckers don't even have to work no more because they make so much money through investing, whether it's stocks, real estate, Bitcoin. Look at all those people who bought Bitcoin in 2012 sitting on a couple $100 million, and I'm over here looking at all these people just making investments, gold, silver, lithium, rare earth, charging stations, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, right? You name it. And these are just people that have been investing for a very long time. They stayed very disciplined. They were really focused about their financial goals in life, and they didn't let anything like stop them. They didn't fall for the bullshit that a lot of you guys be, up to every night. And then you want to sit there and be mad that you're poor every night. Like, you can't have it both ways, you know? So, once I realized this, that's when I was like, man, I really got to start investing. And yeah, I don't have a lot of money. Yeah, I don't make a lot of money, but fuck it, something. I got to start putting something away for the future. Because if I don't, I'm going to be working on my hands and knees the rest of my fucking life. And again, there's nothing wrong with serving 20 years in the Marine Corps. There's nothing wrong with serving 20 years in the military. There's nothing wrong with trying to, work your ass off and establish a career, build a career, you know what I mean? And feel like, you made a name for yourself, a legacy, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't want to do all that and make that commitment and still not be able to afford a home on the beach. Because I feel like if I'm going to sacrifice my body and I'm going to give everything I have and I'm going to fucking sacrifice time away from my wife and kids and I'm not going to be there to do certain things with them during the summer and I'm just going to be working my balls off, just working, stress the fuck out, balls to the wall, just fucking focusing on a career like that. If I'm going to make that commitment, if I'm going to make that kind of sacrifice, if I'm going to devote myself to a career, to a business, to, a large corporation, to the military, to the government, whatever it is, if I'm going to make that sacrifice, I'm going to make that commitment, you got to tell me that it's going to be worth it at the end. Like, financially, this shit better be worth it. Because I don't want to fucking do all of that for 20 years, and then at the end of the road, I'm still over here applying for food stamps and fucking welfare and Section 8 and hoping I have enough money to go out to Applebee's on the weekend. Like, what the fuck? And that's something, again, that always pissed me off when I was in the military was, fuck, I feel like I can sacrifice 20 years, 25, 30 years, fuck it, of my life to the military, to the government, to anyone. And then 20, 30 years down the line, still be a broke bitch. Like, what the fuck? Then it feels like, was it even worth it? But then again, when I'm in San Diego or I was in LA or wherever, fuck it, right? You name a city, San Francisco, Hawaii, Chicago, New York, Miami, Puerto Rico, you name it. You go to all these beautiful cities, you go to all these amazing places, and you see all these rich peoples with their fucking Lambos, their Maseratis, their Bugattis, their Teslas, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, pick a fucking color, you know what I mean? The his and her Porsche, the Ferraris, the mansions, the helicopter pads, the private yachts, the fucking $20, $30, $30,000 Rolexes. You know what I mean? 100,000 on the fucking ring, 200,000 on the fucking necklace, right? And you see these people living these extravagant lives. How many of them work paycheck to paycheck? How many of them ever worked on their hands and knees? How many of them are still working a 9 to 5? How many of them have to go show up to work on Monday? How many of them have a bitch ass supervisor that they let treat them any way they want? Like, how many of them do that shit? None. But then you ask them, like, how they made money. 99, not all the time, but 99% of the time, they'll tell you investing. Sometimes it's real estate. Sometimes it's crypto. Sometimes it's Bitcoin. Sometimes it's fucking NFTs. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's stocks. Sometimes it's this. Sometimes it's that. They started a business and then they sold it. That's basically an investment, right? They invested all their time and energy into a business and then they sold it for a massive profit in the end. Now they're in a place in life where they could do what the fuck they want, when the fuck they want, because they write their own fucking paychecks. So, like realizing this and having been exposed to that at a really young age and just putting the pieces to the puzzle. Again, I wasn't a genius. I wasn't, an astronomer. I wasn't an astronaut. I wasn't a physicist, right? But I realized, like, wow, a lot of this is just common sense. A lot of this is basic math. A lot of this really just comes down to patience, commitment, sacrifice, dedication. You know what I mean? I know it sounds fucking, all moto and shit, but it's really basic fucking things, right? It's not rocket science. It's basic fucking math that you learn in the 3rd grade. So once I realized that, man, a lot of these investments, they're just going to keep going up every 5 to 10 years. And yeah, it's going to have its ups and it's going to have its downs. Then it's going to have its ups and it's going to have its downs. But guess what? If you're focused on, you're just thinking about the long term, then who gives a fuck if it goes up and down and sideways and all around? You're thinking 5 years at a time. You know what I mean? Like like Dom once said, I live my life a quarter mile at a time. I feel like I live my life 5 years at a time. And I'm just looking at the stock charts every 5 years. And so that's what made it easy for me to start to get into this shit and start to invest. And so, and so I think as a long-term thinker, as a long-term investor, if you're someone just thinking about their future and where they want to be 5, 6, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, a decade from now, you know, I think Nvidia is still a name you want to own in the long term. I think, obviously Bitcoin, Tesla, Nvidia, AMD, charging stations, lithium, rare earth, Neo, you name it. I think in the next 5 years, all of these things are going to be way higher. And I mean way fucking higher. Nvidia could be a $5,000 stock in the next 5 years. And honestly, it can do that easily. Tesla could be a $10,000 stock in the next 5 years. Because Elon's not going to stop growing. Bitcoin easily going past fucking, 200, 300K in the next 5 years, especially after the next halving, right? Ethereum, Cardano, VeChain, right? And then you look at some of these just undervalued, even Costco. I mean, Costco, again, 5 years ago, Costco was less than $100. 5 years ago, Costco was like, what, $50, $60, $70, $80. Look at Costco's 5-year chart. Look at Costco's 10-year chart. Look at Costco's max chart, right? So even names like Costco, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, fucking Walmart, all it is just a matter of time, right? Netflix, Google, Disney, Facebook, Microsoft, the list goes on, So yeah, you ask me 5 years from now, is, the market going to be higher, the economy going to be stronger, and portfolio is going to be more, worth more? Abso-fucking-lutely. I'm not talking about the long term, right? I'm just talking about the short term tonight. And in the short term, I think Nvidia has gone up a lot. And what usually always fucking happens, and you're seeing it with Tesla now that it finally lost momentum and it's losing power, you look at, Tesla's 5-year chart and you look at Nvidia's max chart or 5-year chart, it's the same thing. It'll go up, it'll go sideways, it'll come down. It'll go up, it goes sideways, it comes down. Goes up, goes sideways, comes down. So, could it probably get a little higher? Could it fucking tap 400? Maybe. Could it go to 500? Maybe. Could it go to 600? Maybe. But I still think you're going to see a massive pullback soon, not just in Nvidia, but in the broader stock market. And how low is it going to go? Well, I got to be honest. Now that it's already almost close to 400, I'm not sure how low it could go. Originally, I thought Nvidia was going to break below $100, but now that it's closer to 400, I'm not sure it's going to get to 100. So at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down 50%, taps 200, and then bounces back up again. And it's kind of like, you guys remember Bitcoin did this, last year or the year before that, when Bitcoin went from 30,000 to 60, and then in the summer of 2021, it went back to 30,000, and then it bounced, and then it went back all the way up to 60, and then it came back all the way down, bounced at 30, and then ended up rolling over again, down to like 15, 20, right? I think something similar could happen with Nvidia, and people are going to be like, what can make that happen? If everyone knows AI is the truth, and everyone knows AI is the future, and artificial intelligence this, artificial intelligence that, I'm going to be honest, there's only one thing that could really take down the stock. That's going to be higher interest rates and or a recession. And the reason a recession would impact Nvidia stock, even though it is the future and it could easily be 5,000 in 5 years, the reason a recession would hurt Nvidia is because even though artificial, like those AI chips, is the future of their business, and that's where they're going to be making most of their revenue soon. Right now, in the short term, most of their revenue still comes from microchip processors that are used for video game consoles. So a lot of like the Xboxes, the 360s, 720, Xbox One, whatever the fuck the kids call it these days, all the fucking PlayStations, Game Boys, whatever the fuck kids use now, all those microchips that are used in video game consoles and, all that shit, and the data centers and, stuff like Roblox and Fortnite, all those graphic chips that allow the graphics to look more real and, make it look more realistic. All those microchips, all those graphic cards, they're basically coming from, either AMD or an Nvidia. And the reason a recession would hurt AMD and Nvidia in the short term, again, just the short term, I'm not talking about the long term. Long term, it could easily be backed up to 5,000 in 5 years, like no big deal. And I think it will. But in the short term, the reason I'm not buying it back here, even though I sold it at around 195 or so, basically 200, and now again, it's almost at 400, so go fuck myself. The reason a recession would hurt them was because if most of their revenue today, right, most of their revenue right now is coming from video game consoles, or more specifically, the microchips, the graphic chips that are in video game consoles. If we go into a recession, not that many people are going to be buying video game consoles. Most people are going to be selling it at the pawn shop, because, it's going to be a cold ass Christmas for a lot of kids this Christmas. So, especially if the economy continues to get worse and mom and dad either get their hours cut back at work or they just lose their job at work, right? It's going to be a really cold Christmas for a lot of fucking teenagers. So, yeah, I think that's a situation where if and when we go into a recession, and it starts to impact the rich people, because again, I think poor people are already in a recession. I think poor people, your entire life is a recession. And I think a lot of poor people are doing everything they can to survive this recession, like moving back, in with their mom and dad, living with dirty ass roommates, this and that. You guys know the list. Credit cards. But still, like that, all that shit can only go so far. So if and when the economy continues to get worse and then the upper middle class starts to feel it, yeah, I think video game consoles are going to go down in terms of the amount sold. And if Nvidia starts to make less and less money because they're not making as many graphic cards, or they're not selling as many graphic cards worldwide, then that's a situation where their revenue can continue to decline after this summer. So again, in the future, most of their revenue is going to be coming from artificial intelligence clips, those AI chips. But in the short term, most of their money's coming from graphic chips, not the AI chips. That's the future. And that's what Wall Street's excited about. That's what long-term investors are really happy about, is what they're going to be making in the future, those AI chips. But most of their money today doesn't come from AI chips. Most of their money right now comes from the graphic chips. So that's why I said if and when we go into a recession, and or if interest rates continue to go higher, Bob's going to be scared of a recession, and he's going to continue to sell all his stocks, including Nvidia and AMD. He's going to put it in safe shit like bonds, CDs, treasuries, things like that. That 5%, 10% tax-free you can get on a lot of these CDs and bonds these days. I think that's a situation where Nvidia could get impacted. Not because the business isn't on fire, not because the management or CEO fucked up, not because they're still not the future of all technology around the world, but because Bob's going to be scared of a recession and he's going to sell everything he has on the stock market and put it in safe shit like bonds, CDs, and treasuries, and try to wait until, after the recession, quote unquote. And then again, if and when that does happen, that's when their short-term profits are going to come down, because right now, again, most of their money comes from graphic chips. The reason the stock is exploding from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 and maybe even motherfucking 500 is because the company comes out and says, we're making so much money from AI chips, and a lot of these companies just continue to give us more money, that we think in the future, most of our money is not going to come from graphic chips anymore. We think in the future, the vast majority of our revenue is going to come from AI chips. And if we are the key, most dominant player in both AI chips and video game graphic chips, then we basically are the kings of both markets. So that right there, that idea, that potential for this company is making fucking, Bob lose his mind. And, he's dumping as much money as he can into Nvidia for now. But again, I think this is going to roll over. I think this is just a short-term rally. And we saw with Tesla earlier, right? Again, when you look at Tesla earlier this year, the stock was, just exploding back in January. And then in February, it kind of stalled out, went down, came back up again, went down again, came back up again. And now Tesla's kind of just, right? To start the year, it was $100. By the time we got to February, it was $200. And then the last 3-4 months, it's kind of just been under $200. So it basically doubled in a month, and then it didn't do shit after. Now it's kind of just flat, right? So I think that's kind of what you probably see in Nvidia. Maybe it taps 400, maybe it goes to 500. And then I think it's going to just kind of stall out. And then all of a sudden it's going to lose momentum. It's going to lose steam. And then all of a sudden it's going to go limp dick, right? Kind of like you take a Viagra. All of a sudden your shit hard. All of a sudden you're feeling good. All of a sudden you can clap those cheeks for weeks. And then all of a sudden it goes, So I think that's kind of, what you're going to see here. I think you're going to see this name continue to go hard for like another, 2-3 weeks, who knows, probably until the next, Fed hike meeting in June. Again, I think they're going to do a mini pause, which could cause Nvidia to take that little extra pump higher up to, 500 potentially. If the Fed does do this little mini pause that everyone's anticipating this summer, again, I think that's what they will do, but I don't think that's what they should do. But if and when that happens, that could be a 6-week rally where the markets can go a little bit higher and Nvidia can push from 400 to 500. Who knows? So we'll see. We'll see what happens then. And again, the leading thing I'm looking at, if we do see a Fed pause rally, so to speak, in June, is Bitcoin. Because if Bitcoin breaks above 35,000, then I think all the momentum is probably going to carry it to 40, 50, maybe 60,000. So if Bitcoin breaks above 35,000, to me, that's the trade that I want to jump in on. If it does not break above 35,000 and it just continues to fall apart from here, then I think it'll retrace back to 16 and probably go back down below 10,000. So those are just some things that I'm looking at and some things that I'm monitoring and keeping track of this summer. And so we'll see. By the way, also, and I think I mentioned this on the last clip when I was talking about my portfolio last night, but going back to that pause, if we potentially see that this summer, that is something that you can probably take Nvidia from 400 or 350 all the way up to 500 this summer until, the next FOMC meeting. I think the next one's in June, and then the one after that is in August. So that 6-week gap right there, yeah, you'll see Nvidia go from 400 to 500 potentially. And, I'll be keeping track of Bitcoin if it's able to break above 30,000 and then above 35,000. That's my trigger point to pull the trigger and go all the way back into Bitcoin. I'm not in Bitcoin right now. I am in the long term, but in the short term, I think it's going to go lower. So that's something that I'm being cautious with right now. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. But again, if we get that pause, a third thing, I'm just going to throw this out there. I would look at restaurant stocks, I would look at casino stocks, and I would look at airline stocks. Because if the Fed does do that mini pause this summer, again, it's not just going to be Nvidia that rallies. It's not just going to be AMD. It's not just going to be Bitcoin. You could also see things like casinos, like restaurants, like airlines, like cruise lines, shit like that. Because then all of a sudden, all the bulls are going to say that the Fed's done and the war on inflation is over and everything's A-okay again and it's all rainbows and unicorns up in this motherfucker. And then all the rich people are going to go back to spending money like they always do. And how are they going to spend money? They're going to go to resorts. They're going to go to theme parks. They're going to go to restaurants. They're going to go to strip clubs. They're going to go to casinos. They're going to take fucking airlines, right? And so that's something that the upper middle class and above, that's what they're going to do. Again, theme parks, airlines, resorts, casinos, strip clubs, restaurants, this, that, Uber, Lyft, right? These are things you got to, be conscious of. So, again, we'll see what the Fed does this summer. But, just some things that I have for you guys that's going through my mind right now after I listen to this NVIDIA conference call. Because, again, I think it's the future. I think AI is the future. I think artificial intelligence is here to stay. I think this was always going to happen. I don't know why Wall Street's so late to the game, like always. Where the fuck were they when this stock was $20? But, at the same time, automation, I feel like that's something that's going to happen as well. And that's probably going to kill a lot of jobs, but, I don't know why anyone will be surprised when it happens, It's kind of one of those things where everyone always knew that it was going to happen, but then when it happens, they want to act all surprised and shit. And I'm over here like, what the fuck? That's why I always tell people, like, if you work in a warehouse or you work in a job industry where your job can be automated, why would you not invest in the companies who are actively trying to make sure your job is automated? Because that way, if and when that happens and then your company doesn't need you anymore because your position's been automated, you don't have to care anymore because you were invested in the stock that was, the one who was doing the automation. You know what I mean? Like, don't just sit on the sidelines and be a victim. Be proactive and invest in the companies that, again, are going to change the world and change the way we live our life in this world, And so that's something that, again, that I learned really early because I was like, fuck that shit, man. I'm not going to sit here and work 20, 30 years on my fucking hands and knees and still be a broke bitch 20, 30 years from now. Then what the fuck was the fucking point? You know what I mean? Fucking honor, pride, fuck that shit. That shit will kill you. You can have your fucking honor. You could have your fucking pride. You could have your fucking self-respect. I'll take the fucking bag, homie. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, like, You know, I just want my family to have a good future. I want to be able to provide a good life for my family, and you know what I mean. I want to make sure that they don't have to deal with any kind of fucking, like, I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to have to live with depression or fucking anxiety or fucking, have to worry about money all the time, and if they're going to be able to pay the bills on time, and if we have money to fucking celebrate birthdays or to enjoy vacations, or you know what I mean. Do I got to show up to work on Monday morning? I don't want my daughter to experience that. I don't want my son to experience that. I don't want my wife to have to go through that. So it's like, no, bro. So again, these companies are changing the future. They're literally telling you they're going to change the future, and now their fucking stock prices are telling you they are the fucking future, and they will continue to be 5 years from now, and then 5 years after that, and then 5 years after that, and then 5 years after that. Again, it just takes patience, discipline, dedication. Stop spending your money on bullshit and stupid shit, and grow the fuck up and start investing. It's like everyone wants to talk shit and look at all these rich people in fucking Beverly Hills and San Diego and New York City and all their fucking, and oh my God, Andrew Tate, and what color is your Bugatti? But then when they tell you like investing, they're like, nah, I want to go out and spend time with the homies. It's like, bro, they don't care about you. So, that's something, it's just a mindset. Some people just continue to spend their money on stupid shit, and some people continue to make investments. And like I said, it took me a long time to get here and realize this, but once I did, I was able to just block out all the noise, and that's why I just focus on this, and but I don't know, I guess a lot of people really enjoy this podcast because, again, 155,000 strong worldwide, and a lot of people are like, hell yeah, I fuck with the general because I feel like he's the only one telling the truth out here. And again, like, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on TikTok, I'm not on any of that shit, man. I'm not here, asking you to click the like button or any of that bullshit. You know what I mean? I have a VIP package that's closed right now for, for people who want more content and more exclusive heat. I'll probably reopen that shit back up after the summer. But right now I'm just focused on my family and enjoying my best life. VIPs, I'll be sending you guys exclusive clips this summer, and I might even give you guys a secret live stream here and there this summer. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I'm not here to put my name out there. I'm just trying to help you guys get money and figure out how you can invest in this shit, because it's obviously the future of everything. And I feel like a lot of you guys recognize this, you understand this, and you're focused on this. Because a lot of you guys, if you're listening tonight, an hour into the podcast, you realize, like, man, life is stressful, life's full of shit. A lot of people are fucking bitches. A lot of people are trying to backstab you every day. A lot of people are trying to talk shit about you every day. A lot of people are trying to put you down every day. And a lot of people will be on your head every day. And it's, whether it's your family, whether it's your baby mama, whether it's your bitch ass supervisor, whether it's your parents, whether it's your fucking coworkers, it's always something. It's always something going on in your life. There's always stress, always bullshit. And a lot of it is just fucking unnecessary, but it always fucking happens every day. There's always some fucking bullshit happening. And and I think a lot of you guys are just tired of that shit. You're tired of going to work every morning, tired of paycheck to paycheck, tired of drowning in bills, tired of fucking just swimming in debt, tired of fucking just financial stress. And you're trying to figure out a way out of this shit, and there's no easy solution because there's no one there to teach you, about investing or, what to do with your money. And so I think that's why a lot of people use a lot of vices, like always trying to smoke weed, always trying to get high, always trying to get drunk, always trying to get fucked up, always trying to smoke out with the homies, because they don't know anything else, and that's the only way they can really decompress, And so, I think this is why this podcast is so, demanded every night. Because people feel like, man, bro, like if I don't listen to you, I feel like I'm going to lose my mind, General. Feel like you're the only one that could give me like solid advice. And again, I understand that. I'm not trying to be a fucking role model. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm not trying to be your mentor. But I will be your fucking general, because I feel like a lot of people need that in their life right now. I feel like a lot of people need someone that they can relate to, they can listen to, they can fucking rock to, Because life is stressful. Life's full of bullshit. And when you don't have leadership, when you don't have someone to guide you, when you don't have someone in your ear, when you're every night, when you're going to work in the morning, whenever, you're listening to me at the job site, right? It feels like you're just fucking doing the same shit over and over again, and you don't feel like there's ever a way out. And it feels like you're just trapped in a fucking, not even in a rat race. It feels like you're trapped in a fucking infested ass fucking rat hole, where everyone else is just stuck together and no one can fucking get out. So, anyways, so yeah, this is the artificial intelligence podcast, guys. I'm gonna probably send you guys another clip, probably later on tonight, that explains more about like I have a clip that I recorded a while back, and I think I'm gonna send it out probably later tonight. And it's just about like the metaverse and the omniverse and artificial intelligence. And I think on that other clip that I made, about years ago now, 2, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now, I did a great job of explaining like what Elon Musk is trying to do with his robots and what Nvidia does specifically with their microchips and all of these like simulations and all the things they're doing in the metaverse and all their things they're doing in the omniverse. And it's a fucking spooky ass clip that I made, and I'm probably going to send that shit later out tonight. So if you guys really want to learn more about the technology, you guys want to learn more about the use case, and you guys want to hear from Elon Musk and the CEO of Nvidia, Jansen himself, you guys want to listen to the CEO speak, you guys want to listen to their interviews, and you guys want to fucking like visualize the technology and what they're going to do in the future with the technology. Like if you're really, really interested in this shit, listen to the clip I'm going to send later out tonight. If I can find it. If I can't find it, then I won't be able to send it, obviously. But if I can find it, be on the lookout for it. It's called the Omniverse clip. And when you guys see that shit, make sure you listen to it, because that shit's gonna fucking rock your shit. I'm telling you right now, it's a legendary clip. So, anyways, but yeah, tonight I just wanted to focus on Nvidia, the stock chart, right? On the other one, you'll listen to Nvidia CEO talk about the technology, and like I said, that one's going to be it's a legendary clip, so make sure you listen to it. But anyways, in terms of the stock chart, just real quick, one more time. Yeah, Nvidia, probably gets to 400. Especially after listening to their earnings tonight, and then, if the Fed does do that mini pause / fake pivot, then yeah, you could probably see a good push up to maybe 500, 600. Who the hell fucking knows at this point? I mean, this stock is on absolute fire, but I'm not touching it. And, to all my VIP subscribers, who are asking me like, is it time to get back in yet? Look, I sold this one in August of 2022 when Nvidia stock was like 190, 200. Now it looks like it's about to tap 400. But I'm not really salty about it, because I'm also the same guy who told my VIPs to sell Tesla last August when it was 300, and now it's barely not even 200. So, you know what I mean? One stock basically doubled and the other stock almost went down in half. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's basically a push at this point. It's a break even. So, all the money that I'm quote unquote missing out on Nvidia, I basically saved by dumping Tesla. And again, this isn't like these companies aren't good companies. They are the future. They are the fucking legendary, iconic CEOs. These companies are going to continue to grow. And when they grow, they're going to be compounding and compounding and compounding and compounding. And these are stocks you want to own forever. But the reason me and my VIP sold it was because we wanted to be tactical during this recession. Again, still calling for one. And again, if you're a poor person, you're already in a recession, because it's not just higher interest rates that are kicking your ass, but inflation's kicking your ass too, because rent prices are still going to go higher this summer when people go to renew their leases. Food prices are still way too fucking high. Gas prices are probably going to go higher again. And then, for those of you guys who have kids, diapers ain't cheap. Formula's fucking expensive. Baby wipes aren't fucking free. You know what I mean? Like, having kids is expensive. Having a family to support is expensive as fuck, And a lot of you guys have a lot of life responsibilities. A lot of you guys have a lot of financial responsibilities. And a lot of you guys just have a lot of fucking stress right now on your plate. Especially as the economy continues to slow down. It feels like a lot of people are asking for money. A lot of people are looking for work. A lot of people are trying to start a side hustle. A lot of people are trying to fucking rob from people and steal from people and then fucking backstab people. I bet you they wouldn't be doing that if we were still getting stimulus checks. I know, huh? So, just saying, guys, just saying. So, I think that's why in the short term, I'm still not a believer in the short term, because I do think video game sales and consoles are going to go down, and they're not going to sell as many graphic chips as they want. And so even though AI chips is their future, I think in the short term, the stock probably comes down. How low does it go? Back last year when Nvidia was $100, I said, shit, maybe this shit can go down to $50 and I can load the fucking trigger. Now, instead of going to 50, it looks like it wants to go to 500 instead. Go fuck myself, right? But so now I'm not so sure Nvidia is going to go down to $50. I'm not sure you're going to see a crash like that. I'm not even sure it's going to go back down to $100. So right now I'm kind of just hoping that it gets to maybe 400 and then it comes back down to 200 and then it goes right back up to 400. So 400 down to 200, down back up to 4. Because if it goes back down to 200, where it basically was where I sold it, I could basically buy all my shares back, and then I can catch the next rally back up to 400. Because eventually, again, AI is the future. And again, I think the perfect example is Bitcoin in 2021. It started the year at 30,000, went up to 60, and then summer of 2021 went back down to 30 on some China bullshit, and then at the end of 2021 went back up to 60. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping happens here. I'm hoping, Nvidia, something happens in the market, the economy, recession, higher interest rates for longer, something takes this stock back down to 200, and I can buy back all my shares that I sold at 200, and then ride it back up to 400. And then with Tesla stock, Tesla's the opposite. Tesla, again, I sold this one last year at 300. Now it's basically, it went all the way down to 100 to end the year. So I was happy, right? Sold at 300, watched it clash all the way down to 100, but I didn't get that bottom, and it went all the way to 200, and now it's kind of like, losing steam, losing momentum, like I think Nvidia will. And so now with Tesla, I think this was probably going back to 100. And I think, again, it's the future. We all know it is. Growth is insane. Management's executing. Da-da-da-da-da. But it's just higher interest rates for longer because I think the Fed's going to fuck this up. And you know what? It's not even that they're going to fuck it up. It's that they want to start a recession because the only way to kill inflation is to kill the middle class and below, apparently. And some of these upper middle class bitches, too, bringing them back down to earth. So, because of that, I think Tesla probably does go back to 100. Yeah, I think it does go back to 100. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I think it goes back to 100. Maybe at least 150. I could see at least 150, but I think it goes back down to 100. And if it does, I'm going to be a happy camper because that means all those shares I sold at 300, I'm basically going to buy back twice as much Tesla stock as I owned before if I'm able to get it back at 150. If I get it at 100, then shit, I can basically triple my shares. You know what I mean? And so that's what you get when you sign up for the VIP. You get to do tactical trades like that in the short term. The regular podcast, all I do is talk about the long term, which is honestly the only thing most of you guys should be focused on anyways. But VIP is, more of when you want to do like short-term trades or swing trades or stuff like that. So, and then last but not least, Bitcoin, same thing. I think it's been a great rally all the way up to 26, 27, 28K. I think it was like 29, 30K, a year ago. So, nice, great rally. When it was 15, 16K, I thought it was going to go straight down to 10K. It didn't. This is another one, just like Nvidia and Tesla told me to go fuck myself and just went higher without me. But this is another one. Now it's starting to roll over. Now the momentum's gone. Now the steam is leaving. And I'm over here looking at them like, damn, dog, I thought you was ready for 12 rounds. You know what I mean? I'm over here like Muhammad Ali. I'm trying to be Mike Tyson in his prime. Trying to be the next Floyd Mayweather of fucking investing. I'm trying to be the fucking Shakur Stevenson, the Tank Davis. You know what I mean? And just like Ryan Garcia's bitch ass, he came out swinging, came out fast, came out twitchy, came out talking shit, came out with his fucking mouth open. And all of a sudden, we start getting into the later rounds. Motherfuckers start getting tired. Motherfucker ain't built like that. Motherfucker starting to get exhausted. And then we're just like Tank Davis. Knock his bitch ass out. Bink! Motherfucker went down. Didn't even want to get back up. Took a knee like a fucking bitch. So, yeah. Great job, Ryan Garcia. Way to let the Mexicans down. He ain't even a Mexican. He's from Victorville. He's only half Mexican. So anyways, so I think this is exactly what you're seeing play out in the market now. A lot of names are losing momentum. A lot of names are losing steam. Oh, and then last but not least, AMD. Let me hit that one because this is the second best microchip processing company in the world. This stock is 120. It's another one. I sold it last year in August with all my VIPs. VIP stand up. I sold this stock when it was basically 100. Yeah, I basically sold this stock at 100 even. Right now it's 120. So it's a little bit higher than it was when I sold it. This one, the chart looks amazing actually. This chart looks better than Tesla, and fundamentally it looks better than Nvidia. Nvidia is just going parabolic. Nvidia is just going stupid on that Oakland shit right there. Dumb. But AMD looks more fundamentally sound. It hit the bottom last year, or a low last year in October at $55. Then it bounced all the way to 65. Then it bounced all the way to 75. Then it bounced all the way to 85. Now it looks like it want to bounce all the way to 125. Yeah, this is one kind of like Nvidia. Nvidia, I'm hoping that one. I hope Nvidia pulls back down to 200, which is where it was when I sold it last year, and then hopefully I can catch the next bounce back up to 4 or 500. I did not expect this bounce at all. I get it. Artificial intelligence is the future, but in the short term, right now, most of their money comes from video games and microchip processors for graphic chips. And if we go into a recession, it's going to be a cold ass Christmas. And honestly, I see a lot of people out here trying to fucking pawn their Xboxes and their PlayStations because during the pandemic, people just wanted to stay home and collect boosted unemployment and play video games and watch Netflix and shit. Now, because everyone has to work 2 or 3 jobs and people are working over 70 hours a week and they still barely can keep up with inflation, I feel like people don't have as much time and energy just to sit at home and play fucking Xbox and PlayStation. So, and the upper middle class, they don't play video games. They go out and have fun and enjoy their best life. So, yeah, not a fan of Nvidia short term. Long term, it's the future. But short term, recession, higher interest rates, higher for longer, nah, not feeling it. But hopefully it comes back down to 200. You know, again, I missed that bottom at 100. So hopefully it comes back down to 200 and I could buy back my shares at the same price. But I would not recommend it buying it here. I would not buy Nvidia here. Fuck no. AMD, little different story. AMD, you know, if we get a pullback back down to like 100, maybe 95, basically where it was when I sold my shares, this one's not up as much. Again, sold it at 100, now it's 120. It's not up as much as the other one is, but you know, that's the name I'd be looking out for. So, same thing though. Second best microchip processor on the planet. Lisa Su, one of my favorite CEOs on the planet. Great company, great technology, top of their game. But yeah, I'm not gonna buy back my shares anytime soon either. I'll probably buy back my AMD shares after this summer. I don't think this one's necessarily gonna take off without me. I think we can easily see a pullback back to 85, 95, and maybe even 75, 65. Who knows? Again, we'll see what happens. Higher interest rates for longer. But other than that, guys, that's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's clip. I hope you guys learned something. And again, if you guys are really interested in learning about the fucking like the omniverse and the things that Elon is talking about and Jansen and Nvidia is trying to develop and create, and you want to learn about artificial simulations and you want to learn about all this, you know, breaking technology, listen to the clip if I could find it later tonight. It's called the Omniverse clip. And that shit is going to be a spooky clip. It's a legendary clip, and it's one of my most famous clips from back in 2020 and or 2022. So other than that, that's all I got for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for riding with me, and thanks you guys just for fucking, you know, rocking with me. The one, the only, the motherfucking general. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for fucking discounts after this summer. Fix your credit, stack your cash, stop spending money on stupid shit, stop spending your time with fucking stupid people, and stack your fucking income. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Thanks for listening to the one, the only, the motherfucking general.